gentlemen, welcome back once again to an episode of Bull Plays. Today we're going to check out and review of a game called The Forest. The Forest is a survival builder game where you basically are thrown onto an island, either solo or with some other players, and you basically have to survive enemies and build up shelters, scavenge for food, the usual stuff. Kind of along the lines of Ark, which I've played quite a bit of, or Rust, or any number of other games that have come out in recent years. As you can kind of see on the screen here, this is an early development game, because of course it is. They all are, for the most part, and it is in current alpha build. But it's really playable, and there's a lot of stuff to it already, even considering it's still technically alpha. So we're going to go ahead and fire it up. And there we go. Alright, in the forest you are on a plane. The plane crashes. You have your son. If you're playing multiplayer, you might be in a different seat. So technically I think the first player is the father of little Timmy here. You can look at his little, for Timmy, his little survival book.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now crossing a zone of turbulence. Please return to your seats and keep your seatbelts fastened. Flight attendants and cabin crew, please.
Hit some turbulence and the plane goes down. So you kind of wake up, the plane's crashed, and there's a creepy dude all covered in red who takes Timmy. And as far as I can tell, the goal of the game is that you want to eventually find and rescue Timmy from these cannibals and mutants that live on this island. So you wake up, and you're on the wreckage of the plane. You're covered in blood because you're hurt. Now, the game is interesting because unlike a lot of the survival games, you don't have like a grid where you can just stack up tons and tons of stuff. Instead, you have this. I love this little your inventory menu. Because you have your little backpack here. You've got a survival guide. You start with a lighter, and there's a walkie-talkie so you can talk to somebody. And basically, it's a blanket from the plane, which is kind of neat. So you start off. You go ahead and collect some stuff. There's a passenger manifest, so one of the goals of the game is to try to locate the other passengers, or what's left of them. All right, so you can see I'm finding stuff on the ground. They got little icons that kind of show what they are, and I can pick them up. And as I pick up stuff, it adds it to my inventory. There is a limit to how much of any one item you can carry, which is kind of neat. So you can't just collect stacks and stacks of stuff. And it's not weight-based, which is interesting, but instead it is entirely stack-based. You'll see some of these icons, like this one has like this, looks like a little Pac-Man icon. If you hold down E, you'll eat it. It's something I can't pick up, but it's something I can eat real quick. I am full up on food, and I'm going to take an axe out of this poor stewardess. And then hop out. So I can pick up and eat these mushrooms, which I don't know if that's a good idea, and I can pick up some stone. Actually, real quick, we're gonna... Let's see if I can find some more stone real quick, just to show you guys some stuff. Like, you can hack down these trees, pick up some sticks. There are berries, but depending on the type of berries, they may or may not be good for me. In this case, they are, so I'm okay. I don't recognize the berries offhand because I haven't played that much of the game yet. I played a little bit of single player, and then we've started a multiplayer game with my buddy Andy and a few other friends. Okay, so like, see how I'm trying to pick up the stick and it's dropping it? That means I'm full. You can only carry 10 sticks at once. I'm also full up on rocks, I believe, because I think you can only carry 5. You also will carry leaves. I don't know what the stack size on those is. And just because this is kind of amusing and kind of neat, I'm going to chop down a tree real quick, because this is how you get wood. And again, unlike a lot of the other games where every time you chop, you get a bunch of wood in your inventory, in this case you don't. You chop it down and you get a handful of logs. And you can only pick up 2 logs at once. And I'll show you some building stuff here in a little bit, but yeah, like some of the buildings will require, you know, dozens, if not 100 or more logs. So you got to do some serious like logging and stuff to do building, which is kind of neat. It's a little different than your, like I said, your average survival game where you go up to a tree and you cut and you pick up, like, you know, stacks of 100 wood, and then you end up with these weird building requirements where like a wall might require 40 wood and some stone and something else, but then you go to build like a storage box and suddenly it requires like 300 wood, despite the fact that it's, you know, 3 feet by 2 feet type thing. So everything kind of has somewhat realistic requirements as far as what it requires, although, you know, obviously some of this stuff's a little unusual. You know, I mean, it's not always completely realistic, but, you know, allowances have to be made since it's a game. Oh, there are deer. You can hunt the deer. In fact, food is a major food, and water, actually, especially. Because you're on an island surrounded by the ocean, so there's not a whole lot of fresh water. And even, like, the rivers aren't necessarily safe to drink. So finding safe to drink water is a major challenge. But you'll find bits of these crash sites, and there'll be luggage and stuff that you can ransack for items. The crafting system in this is kind of neat too, because basically the inventory is also how you do your crafting. So I've got 10 cloth. Alright. So whenever you want to do crafting, you place a number of items in the center here. Like, for instance, it takes 7 cloth to make a rope. So I'm going to combine 7 cloth. I clicked and put 7 cloth in the middle. And now I have a rope. So now I'm going to take the rope, and it'll tell you what you can make with this. I can make a stick, well, theoretically what I can make a stick bag, a rock bag if I had the materials, or a crafted bow. I am making a crafted bow, so I'm going to put a stick, and I now have a bow. One of the other things about this game is there's only 4 hotkey slots. So you combine an item with your backpack, and then you click on one of the 4 locations to place the bow. So now if I hit 4, I will pull out the bow. Unfortunately, I have no arrows yet. Arrows require feathers, which means I need to kill birds. Yeah, it'll automatically put things that you pick up into your hotbars, so you want to be careful not to put the right stuff in where you go. So, alright, so that's it. That's that. And so we're going to go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and build a couple things real quick. Find a location that's safe, and do a couple things. Okay, so I found a beach area, and this will be semi-safe, I think. So we're going to go ahead and build out here to get a little bit of a starter thing going on. There are various options. I know the single-player game, we found an island just off a shore. Not a really big one, but we kind of started deciding to build there. So the build menu is also kind of interesting because basically you have your survival guide. And you got your basics of survival: build fire, build a hunting shelter, find food. And I currently have God mode on so that I don't starve and stuff while I do all this. So we are going to go ahead and start off with a fire pit. The reason being is that the regular fire will tend to go out. So as you can see, I got this little like shaded thing, and I can spin it around, and with E I place it. And once it's placed, it requires some stick, some stone, and some leaves. So I have to gather those items, and then I place them. And now, one of the things you have is you start off with a lighter. Fortunately, the lighter never runs out of lighter fluid, so you're all right there. This is a ever-burning Bic, apparently. But you light the fire, and then I also kind of have infinite items on, so that's why it says like 10,000 or whatever, or 100,000 underneath. But you can add more leaves to make the fire go a little hotter and a little brighter, which is kind of nice. And occasionally you get these birds will land near you. If you can get near the birds, you can kill the bird, and then you'll see these feathers will go flying off. And if you can catch the feathers, well, then you'll have some feathers, and that's how you build arrows. So, and there's a bunch of different stuff you can build and do. So you got fires, you got shelters, so you can build a pre-made shelters. There's also custom somewhere. Alright, we'll go through all this stuff. So you got shelters, you got things you can build for food. You can get rabbit cages to hold rabbits, a garden so you can grow things with seeds. Water collectors are really useful, and I'm actually going to build one of those right now. Because, actually I'm going to build a couple of those. Normally these would be a little harder to build, because turtle shells are one of those things you can only carry one of. In the early stages of the game, water collectors are about the only way to get fresh water, and it only when it rains. So these will collect water. Drying racks end up being really useful because food spoils pretty quickly if it's raw. You can cook food, but once you cook it, you have to eat it immediately. Cooked food apparently you can't carry with you or anything like that. But if you dry the food, you can carry it with you. Kind of hoping that's something they change in the future, because that seems a little silly. Storage is useful. Especially the log sled. Log sled is something you can carry around with, or you can push with you. You can actually put rocks on here, or sticks as well. But logs are your... Considering that you can normally only carry 2 logs at a time, logs are very important. So you would basically chop down logs, load up as many logs as you can onto the carrier, and then you haul them back to where you're building. Timber! And, you know, you basically carry them over, stack them up, and then, like I said, you kind of haul them back and forth to where you need to go. So yeah, see, I've got some fresh meat right now. If I eat it, that would be bad, but I can put some on here. And you can kind of see it in the center of the fire there. It'll cook, and then once it's cooked, it'll give me the little Pac-Man icon. And it'll say I can, you know, use it with the E. Some of the lighting effects are a little weird sometimes. Yeah, see, so I can pick it up and eat it, but I can't put it in my storage. I could, however. So you can hang up stuff to dry here, though. And then once it's dry, you can actually hold that in your inventory, and it'll last for a few days, a couple of days at least. I don't know the exact time. But storage, there's all kinds of different things you can set up for storages. Okay, custom building. Here you can actually build like customized stuff, but we're not going to do that right now. We're just going to build a log cabin, just so that I have a thing. And since I've got cheaty build mode on, look at that. Because this takes like 100 and some logs, so it's a pain in the butt. So now the neat thing is when you come in here, I love the little bed you've got made up. There's two icons. One, you can save. And you can actually set up multiple storage spots to save locations. That's mainly for single player game, or if you're on a server, the server will handle all that. The other icon up there is your sleep icon, basically. You will get tired. Actually, let's go ahead and God mode off. All right, so you see my over on your lower right-hand screen here, there are multiple meters. The water is obviously your water level. Food is obviously your food level. But then there's two blue meters. The inner blue meter is your stamina. As you perform, as you do things, your stamina goes down. So like you see, I'm chopping, goes down pretty quick. The outer meter is your energy. As you do actions and just as you're awake, your energy goes down. Interestingly enough, your energy, your stamina can never be higher than your energy. So if you're too tired, you just can barely do anything because you'll run out of stamina almost immediately. The red bar is, of course, your health, and then the bar on the little pips on the outside represent armor. So as you find basically like lizard skins and stuff like that, you can convert into armor. So yeah, as you can see, it goes down, and I'm slowly starting to lose some energy as well. So I'm gonna come over here real quick too, because we're gonna explore. The other cool thing is just to make it easier on you to figure out where you're going, is there's these little the little house icon shows you where one of my homes is. The little flag is one of your is my sled. And then when I was running around last night trying to find this location, I had built a little lean-to, and that's out there. So you can kill turtles. Oh, poor turtle dead. And it won't actually let me skin the turtle. Oh, probably because I got infinite items on. But normally you could pick up meat and stuff from there. And there's some cases you can pop open. I love the tennis ball. You can't really store the tennis ball, but you can throw the tennis ball. And if you throw it to another player and actually hit them, they'll actually catch it. Yeah, it's kind of neat. And then there are tribes of like natives. They are basically cannibals and or mutants. You'll find some really freaky looking mutants wandering around. And they will occasionally come up and raid you and attack you. We were looking through this. So we had custom building. So you build furniture, decorative skulls, trophies, displays, birdhouses, traps. Happy birthday trap. Rafts. Effigies. Effigies are twisted. Basically, you can the natives use them a lot, but you can actually add bones and body parts to create effigies, and the effigies will scare away scare away the natives, which is nice. You have stats. You have a sanity stat. I don't know exactly what that does yet, but you have one. Your only two stats are strength and athleticism, and they'll go up and down, and weight. Those will go up and down based on your activities. Calories eaten, calories burnt. It'll show you what critters and stuff you've encountered so far and killed, and that shows you how to do the crafting. That's pretty much it. There's not... I mean, the game's pretty straightforward, and the idea of the game is to explore. You have to find Timmy, and there's a few other things you can come across as you play. It'll give you. It'll update your to-do list. You got to find all the passengers on the passenger manifest. Spoiler alert: most of them, if not all of them, are dead. You know, you usually will find them in places like the cannibal villages that you'll come across. Oh, this is interesting. There are caves. And you will occasionally find these ropes that go down into the caves. And the caves are kind of scary. I don't know if I actually want to go down there. Even with God mode on. Yeah, let's go down real quick, explore. Oops. Well, you know, I meant to go down. Yeah, as you can see, the caves are very dark. And even better, your lighter will occasionally go out and you have to relight it. Oh, this goes down a very long way. Oh! Hi! I don't know what the fuck that is. That's got multiple legs. That's a mute. Oh, and there's... Oh, God. Look below me. Holy shit. I don't know what all of that shit is, but we are not... We're not going down there. Even with God mode on, that's fucking creepy. Plus, I'm kind of, you know, I kind of want to explore the game with my regular game rather than just, you know, God moding my way through everything. So, we're not going to go down there and check all that out, but holy crap. Alright. Nope, yep, here's one of those effigies you'll find occasionally. A couple of heads on a stick. These generally start marking a couple of pens or something. These will generally mark the territory of the various cannibals. Well, that was a nice scream. There's something in the area. Oh, yep, there's some natives. Oh, I am getting the crap beat out of me. I am... Yep, and then they'll go and hide, and they'll circle me. Ah! And they'll charge me. And they'll drop teeth. These things are really hard to kill with just the axe. I wonder if they're invincible. That might be part of the problem. God make... Nope, nope, they're not. They're just really tough. Then you can... Yeah, so like you can pick up body parts then. Oh, I picked up a club. See, so now, if I go to my inventory, I have a head. Alright, well, that's the basics of the game. Like I said, the cannibals will come out and attack you. Or if you wander around, you'll find villages, like little villages of, for the tribals. Nope. They went down there. Oh, there's a bunch of them down there. You'll find little villages, and the villages will have lots of loot in them, usually. You'll also find, you know, other plane crash areas in other parts of the plane. And I assume there's other fun stuff. You'll find little campsites every now and then that look like they were from humans, like normal people. Because there'll be like regular tents and like, you know, camping equipment and stuff. Ooh, covered in blood, wash it off to avoid infection. Right. Yeah, you can't go into third-person mode, though, I've noticed. I don't know why. If you're playing multiplayer, obviously you can see the other players, but you can't really see yourself. There we go. I'm all clean now. So, alright, anyways, that has been The Forest. I just kind of wanted to show you... Oh, and he's one of the, like, leader types. Oh, and there's... That's a gator. Huh. I hadn't seen a gator before. Well, apparently there's more than one. There we go. I got a gator head. Alright. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be where I'm going to end it now that I've discovered a gator and fought a couple of cannibals. I didn't really... You got to see the mutants a little bit in the cave. I didn't check them out too in depth. Largely avoided them in our regular game thus far. We haven't gotten too terribly far yet, though, so... Alright, well, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, all that jazz. As always, this video has been brought to you by the wonderful support of my Patreon backers. If you're interested in checking it out, hit www.patreon.com/Bulldrek for more information. I do videos, writing, gaming stuff, all kinds of stuff. So, you know, check it out. And until next time, have a good one.